We are officially in a new console generation, and with the release of the PlayStation 5 comes new and exciting things. The new features will allow us game designers to fulfill our vision of creating better and higher quality games with things as simple as the ability to greatly reduce load times. If you're familiar with how loading works on games, you know that we as game designers use certain tricks like having the players traverse through narrow passageways in order to load the next part of the level. With the next generation of consoles, this is going to be a lot easier and allow for a lot more freedom for level designers to design their levels however they want. Another great feature of this console is the dualsense controller, which has haptic feedback and adaptive triggers. This allows you to feel physically responsive feedback to your actions in-game, which makes it feel more immersive. Speaking of the dualsense controller, every PlayStation 5 console is included with a game that is intended to showcase what this controller is capable of. This game is called Astros Playroom. Since this game is free, you might think it's not that good, but I think it is probably one of the best launch games ever, and it teaches some great things that we all should do in our games. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about some key aspects of design that this game does really well and why. If you have the chance, you should definitely try it out and hopefully learn from it. Astro's Playroom is a short and simple game with a very simple premise. The idea is that the game takes place inside your PlayStation 5 and you take control of Astro, a cute small robot. The game is a 3D platformer. The first thing you notice is that there is a hub called the CPU Plaza, where we can access 4 different worlds. Each world is supposed to be one component of the PS5. We have Cooling Springs, GPU Jungle, Memory Meadow, and SSD Speedway. We also have access to PlayStation Labo, which is an area in which we can check objects that we can collect in our journey. Each of the worlds offers a unique set of challenges focusing on one mechanic that gets more complicated as you advance more in that world. After you complete a world, you get an artifact or trophy for that world that gets added to your PlayStation Labo collection, and then you go on to the next world. Now let's talk about what this game does so well. First, let's talk about the controls. Since this game is a platformer, it requires some very precise jumps and moves, and this game nails them very well. Every time I wanted to do or try something, I did it. Every time I died, it was my fault, and every time I accomplished something, it felt so good to control. I have a video where I discuss controls as an element of game design, if you want to check out a more detailed explanation of things to consider for your game controls. The camera behavior is also really good. It never got in the way of any jump or anything that I wanted to do. With these types of games, the camera can sometimes cause frustration, but I never felt that as I played it. I think that what they did here again was to get the controls right first and then create the levels. Obviously, it helped that they had the same character controller from the beer title that they created a few years back, but the lesson here is to always focus on getting the basics first. The second thing that I wanted to talk about is navigation. From the first time you start the game and you see the CPU Plaza initially, it is awesome how they differentiated each world. Each one has its own color to represent, with each representing a part of the PS5. Each world has its own theme and mechanic. Once you enter each world, there is only really one path to follow, but it is so well done that it looks and feels natural. The branching paths are always dead ends, but they end up always giving the player something in return, which leads me to my next point: rewards. When you end up finding a secret path, you almost always end up getting a reward, which can end up being either coins or an artifact for your PlayStation Labo collection. If that is not the case, you might also find an Easter egg that might be some characters from a PlayStation franchise or other gaming characters. I think this is great, because although it is not something that the player is gaining, it is something that can bring the player a smile, and can be something that can get the player motivated to keep playing to explore more of the world that you build for your game. The next point that I want to talk about is collectibles. I see a lot of games that use collectibles in their games as a means to obtaining an achievement or a trophy. In Astro's Playroom, there are collectibles that you gather by playing the game, like puzzle pieces and artifacts, which when you get them and return to your PlayStation Labo, you can actually see them physically there and interact with them by jumping on top of them. This is a great way to motivate players to pursue collectibles so that they are proud when they see that room full of stuff that they earned for themselves, as opposed to just seeing a number counter increased by a certain number. Another great thing is that the coins that you find in the worlds can be exchanged for items you can display in your PlayStation Labo. The last thing that I want to talk about are the mechanics, and this is by far the best part of Astro's Playroom. Each world focuses on one mechanic, and each world evolves that mechanic to make it progressively harder without making it annoying or boring. Each world is short enough that it feels the right amount of challenging, and each mechanic doesn't overstay its welcome. First, we have the flying mechanic in the SSD Speedway world. It starts easy with just learning how to fly, and flying through a cavern-like structure with little to no danger. But as you progress, you start to get introduced to electricity that can kill you instantly, which means you need to fly more carefully. You end up entering a spaceship with more challenging obstacles, culminating in an awesome but challenging boss fight, which goes to show how progression in a game should work. Second, we have GPU Jungle. In this world, you get the power to transform into a monkey, and you have to use both triggers of the controller to climb the wall. Again, like before, everything starts easy, to teach the player how everything works. But later, we are introduced to bars which allow the monkey to jump high into the air. As we progress, we are introduced to enemies passing through the walls that move, etc., with the final challenge being an acrobatic maneuver of the last things that I mentioned. The third world is the Cooling Springs. In this world, we take control of a spring creature which we control with the right trigger. We can control how much bounce force to apply to. It is difficult to control at first, but as you get more hands-on time with it, you get it and master it. At first, you are just asked to go forward with it, but as the game progresses, you are asked to get on a platform surrounded with water and stay on top of it, otherwise you die. On top of that, you need to evade obstacles while it is moving. Later, you need to make precise jumps to evade spikes and also jump on a moving wheel to avoid falling down. The last world is Memory Meadow. In this world, you transform into a ball and you control it with the touchpad of the controller. I think this world is really cool because it gives you options as a player. If you feel like you are up for a challenge, you can take the hard route. If you feel like you just want to be done with it, you can take the easy route. This world is sneaky because it looks easy at first, but it obviously gets progressively harder until it starts introducing icy surfaces or wind. In the end, it feels really cool when you finally beat it. That is what a really great level does to a player. A curve of high and lows until you get to that really high emotion of finally beating it. After the last world, there is a secret world, but I will hate to spoil it for you because it is such a cool moment in this game, so go play it now. I am giving you like the 50th reason to go play this game. The only thing that I will say about this world without spoiling it too much is that it culminates everything in an epic and satisfying way, which is a great way of ending a game. What do all these have in common? These are all mechanics that we have seen in games before, but are applied in new and fun ways in this game. It goes to show you that you don't need to reinvent the wheel in order to create a fun and engaging game. But please don't feel like you need all these mechanics to create a great game. For example, I think that just with one of these 4 mechanics, you will be able to create a great game just by evolving the mechanic and making it more complex over time. This game was meant to showcase everything that is possible, so it can serve as inspiration for your game. Astro's Playroom is so good that it shouldn't be skipped, especially if you're a designer and are interested in 3D platformer games. It is a game that shows that bigger is not always better, and that sometimes shorter and tighter experiences are the way to go. Don't feel like your game needs to be a certain length. As long as you're happy with the final product, it will be good. Astro's Playroom is proof of that. And that's it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. What do you expect from this generation of gaming? Please let me know in the comment section below. Also, if you like this video, please hit the like button and share it with your friends. See you next time!